In this video I want to give you a practical example of using Git hooks. I will show you how I update my Git site when I push to a repository, and also how to install a chicken scheme library I have whenever I update it. So again, whenever I push. And the main hook I will use for this is the post receive hook. If I look that up on this Git documentation site, so post receive basically runs after everything a push does is done. So this is great for example, again, deploying a site or rebuilding a library and stuff like that. And it will also output all send all the output to the user who pushes. So pretty good. If you've seen my video on stargit and git daemon, you will know that I have a Git site right here, so /git, and I have 3 repositories here. And of course, whenever I push to to one of them, I want this site to update automatically, because I don't want to SSH into the server and run the update stuff and whatnot manually all the time. And again, this is what I will show you in this video. And also, so this is for example, this is a library, a chicken scheme library. I want to build this automatically whenever I push to the Git repository. So let me switch the code to this. So this is the repository. Or this is the code for this MWD repository. So this one right here. And I'm in this atomic.scm file right here. And this is a atomic CSS library. You don't need to know what that does or means, but atomic CSS is pretty cool if you're into web development. Or if you do any kind of web stuff. I mean, web development sounds kind of normy, but you know what I mean. So I've added 2 rules to my atomic CSS generator, and that is this text justify rule to create justified text, and text left to create left aligned text. All right, and again, this doesn't really matter. So and I need to add this in 2 places, but that's another story. So I have these changes, and this is Emacs, by the way, and I'm in my Git, which is an Emacs Git client, and I will stage these changes. And then I can commit it and push to my server, of course. So, for example, commit add text left, if I can type, and text justify. So just a normal commit message. Now, if I push to my server, nothing will happen because I haven't set up the hook. So let's do that. So here I'm on my server, and I'm in the if I clear that, I'm in the var git directory, and if I type who am I, git. So we are in the git user in the home directory, and here you can see 4 repositories. All of these are git repositories, and these 3 are the ones, so ff, mwd, and nsg are the ones you see on my git. So these are right here, these ones are right here. So what I can do now to add a hook is to vi mwd, then go into the hooks directory, and you can see a bunch of sample files right here, but we will create a new one called post receive, and this is a shell script, and this is just a normal shell script. I mean, you can write anything you want here, but what you normally want to do, and I have some notes compiled here, is you want to have a while loop, and this will read the refs. So this is for I think different branches. So if you were to push different branches, this would read all of them. But normally it just reads, if you just do a normal push, it will just read one time. So we want to do that. And then the next thing we want to do is, if I switch back to that, let me make that a bit smaller, is we want to go to our Git web directory. Not that, but inside that. So we want to switch there, and then we want to go to the MWD directory. So this is the web directory, so where all the HTML files which get served right here are stored, if that makes sense. And then furthermore, we want to, of course, not this, but this. And I have written some notes for my other repositories as well. We want to, of course, rebuild that with stargit. So we specify stargit, and then the path to the Git repository, which is var git mwd. And yeah, important difference here is, of course, the www. So this I mean, these paths are almost the same, even though they may look the same on first sight. All right. So we want to rebuild that, and then we also want to rebuild the index. So, oh yeah, and this should probably be, yeah, all right. So this, if we just do that, it will rebuild this entire site, but it will not rebuild this repository's index. And of course we want to update that as well, because, for example, the last commit might have changed, or will have changed. So we want to update that as well. But with stargit, there's this stargit index file to create the index. So this one right here, and let me show you this in the. So if we just put that in right here, this is kind of so this works, of course. If we do var www.git, I mean, or we could just do this, I guess. So this will work. So no, let's make it like that. This will regenerate the index file, but the problem now is that we will, of course, I mean, I will add git hooks like this one to the other git repositories as well, and I will have this line in all of them. But now if I add a repository, which I also want to index right here, I will have to edit this line in all the files. So this is kind of, or in all the git hooks rather. So this is kind of suboptimal, and I will rather just create a shell script, for example, in var git update stargate index or something. Yeah, so I will write and quit here, and then I will create this new file, and this is another shell script, of course. Let me see, and we will take this and all the rest here, and I will tell you in a second what that does. So first we need to regenerate that index, and these two lines, if you have seen my the other video, which was called I published my Git repository, if I can speak, I published my Git repositories or something, and some shell scripting or something was called. This is for obfuscating the email addresses, because by default stargit generates like let me go here. No, let me show you this. So if I go here, so this was with an earlier thing. So this was with an earlier where I haven't specified my actual email. You will see it will generate these mail to links, and I mean that's cool and all. Of course, this is not a real email, but I hope you get the point. This is cool and all, but having your email in plain text is kind of a bad idea, because then it will get added to like spam lists and whatnot. So you kind of want to obfuscate it, and I have a video on that. So long story short, these two commands do that. So I want to add them here as well. Oh, and of course we need to cd to the correct directory. So var www.git, so this should do it. And yeah, so if we now chmod plus xstat, and also chmod plus xstat, so we need to make these files executable, of course. So if we now look at that again, that should all work. Yeah, so I think, oh yeah, okay, so this is for, so now what we've done is we have regenerated this static this Git site. So we've regenerated the index and also the repository itself. So it should, after commit or after push rather, it should show the new commit and the new changes to files. But what we also want to do is we want to actually build this library. So if I quit here, and let me clean that. So I have this chicken repository, and this is for chicken scheme. If you don't know chicken scheme, it's a dialect of Lisp, and it's a programming language basically. Well, not basically, it is. And I have this eggs repository, and chicken scheme eggs are just libraries or extensions or modules, or however you want to call them. And I have again this MWD right here, and this is not a Git repository, but this is the actual like files. So what I want to do is I want to, of course, update this and then install the new version of the library on the server. So how I do that is, again, pretty straightforward. I just have to check where I have that. I don't think I have it here anywhere. So let me go to this one right here. So this is the Git hook for my website, and I will just copy that if I can, copy that and paste it in this MWD post receive. And this, what this does is it checks out the Git repository. So if I change that to no, so we need to change this. So this home is equals to var git. I mean, we can, yeah, I should probably change that to var git here as well, or to this var git. I should have changed to $home, but whatever. Doesn't really matter. So let's do it like that: chicken, eggs, and MWD. So if you run this, it will basically perform a pull in this directory. All right, so we need to do that, and then we need to, of course, cd there. So change our directory there, and so go here, and then run chicken install. So like this, bin chicken install. So this is just needed because I don't have that in the path. But so these are just specifics of how to install a library in chicken scheme, but it's not really. I mean, you can imagine how you would do that with something like Python or something, or with any other programming language. Again, these are just chicken scheme specifics. The point is, it's easy to install or update a library through a Git hook like that. All right, so I hope this will work, but I think it should. And then what I will also do is I will also call another script I've written, and that is compile nsg, I think it's called. So, and this is for updating my, so this is for updating my static site generator, because the static site generator uses this library. All right, so that was a lot of stuff. I hope this will just work because I haven't tried it before. Again, let's check if this is executable. Yes, it is. So if I now push this, this should work. And we can, what I normally do when I create something like this is I add like debug stuff, pushing to live to see if it works like at all. Because I've had it a bunch of times that it just didn't work and I needed to debug, and okay, whatever. Okay, so let's push. Push origin master, yes. So if I do that, and if I hit $, it will show me the, oh, no, that's not good. An error already. So it will show me the output of this Git hook right here, and this is the same as you would if you were to like run this from a shell. You can do the same thing from a shell. So this is just me using Emacs, but if I switch here and, for example, go to, yeah, I mean, not really go anywhere, you can just do the same by running git push, and it will show you exactly the same output. Just in the terminal and not in this in this Emacs window. And it will prefix each output line with like remote. So this is pretty nice. And here's the pushing to live echo I just added, then an error because apparently my set is not correct. And yeah, but as you can see, it's building the library just fine. And since we did the building after, so and it's install and god damn it, and it's installing the library. So yeah, but it's already done. So now, if I switch to the repositories directory again and refresh the repositories browser, the repository site again rather, and refresh this, it will show the new last commit state. So the generating the index has worked. If we look here and also reload that, because the site was cached, it also shows the new commit. So I can click on that and then see all the changes. And again, apparently my email obfuscation script has not worked because, as you can see, there's the email in plain text. So that's not good. And yeah, everything has basically worked. I hope. Oh yeah, and it's also running it's also regenerating the static site generator. So the script I've added last. So this one right here gets also run. So this shell script is just being run. That's the synopsis. But for example, if for whatever reason this doesn't work, so maybe I can identify the error. Oh, this was split in 2 lines for whatever reason. So if I run that again, it should work. So let me refresh that. Let me go here. Okay, now the email is obfuscated again. So and if you haven't seen the other videos, this in this case obfuscation just means that there are like decoy spans. So these decoy spans are present in the actual HTML, as you can see, but they are not visible and also not copyable because they are hidden with CSS display none. And so this is great because scrape bots which add like email addresses to spam lists don't normally evaluate CSS. Or I mean, what means normally? I mean, they don't evaluate CSS because it's pretty difficult to do that. So they just look at the actual contents of the file, and in these contents you can't really make any real address out because there are these hidden decoy spans. All right, but that's just if you care about that, you can watch the video on that. On the topic email obfuscation. All right, so that was a lot of stuff, but I wanted to show you a real world example of how I use Git hooks and why they are great. And I think with this I have. Again, this may have been a bit complicated. I hope it wasn't too complicated and you were able to like understand what I was doing and how you can apply this to your own use case. But yeah, Git hooks are great because they are just shell scripts in the end, which get called on certain Git actions, and they are like super minimal, as you see. I hope so. And I've used stuff like GitLab in the past, and it's, I mean, yeah, that like CI/CD pipelines in GitLab or like other huge Git software is just kind of really unnecessary in my opinion, because with this you can do pretty much anything. Yeah. Okay, so I think this video is long enough, and I think I've showed and said everything I wanted to show and say. So yeah, have a nice day.